$2,000 a month. That's it. That's the budget. For some people, that's a comfortable living. For others, that is barely enough to cover rent. And for a whole other group of people, that's a life of actual luxury. It completely depends on where on the planet you decide to spend it. Today, we are taking that exact number, $2,000 a month, and seeing what kind of life it buys you in 3 very different cities. New York City, the megacity that needs no introduction, Braga, Portugal, a mid-sized European city that has been quietly becoming one of the most talked about relocation destinations in the world, and Chiang Mai, Thailand, the city that basically invented the concept of the expat haven. Same budget, 3 completely different lives. Let's get into it. Let's start with the obvious one, because somebody always asks. New York City is one of the most iconic places to live on earth. The culture, the energy, the food, the career opportunities. If you've ever dreamed of living in a big American city, New York is probably in that dream somewhere. It is also one of the most expensive cities in the entire world, and $2,000 a month in New York is not a budget. It's a survival situation. Now, housing. This is where things get painful immediately. The median rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in Manhattan is somewhere around $4,000 a month. In Brooklyn or Queens, you're looking at $2,500 to $3,200 for a solo 1-bedroom in a decent area. So with $2,000 a month total, a solo apartment isn't happening. What you're looking at is a shared apartment, a room, in a place where you will have roommates and probably a bathroom situation you did not sign up for. If you are lucky and flexible, you might find a room in a shared apartment for $1,000 to $1,400 a month in outer Brooklyn or parts of Queens. That leaves you somewhere between $600 and $1,000 for everything else in New York City. Now, food. Here's the good news about food in New York. There are ways to eat cheaply if you're disciplined. Grocery shopping at Trader Joe's or Aldi, cooking most of your meals, grabbing a $3 slice of pizza when you're out. You can absolutely keep your food costs around $300 to $400 a month if you're intentional about it. The bad news is that New York's food culture is built on eating out, and eating out in New York is expensive. A sit-down dinner for one at a mid-range restaurant easily runs $25 to $40 before tip. A coffee and a bagel in the morning is $8. If you're eating out even a couple times a week, your food budget climbs fast. Realistically, expect to spend $350 to $500 a month on food if you're cooking most meals at home with occasional outings. Now, some things in New York are genuinely free. Central Park is free, the Staten Island Ferry is free, some museums have free days, walking around different neighborhoods costs nothing and never gets old. But most of the good stuff costs money. A movie ticket is $20 to $25, a night out can set you back $60 to $100 without trying very hard if you want to actually experience New York. Concerts, comedy shows, rooftop bars, sporting events, budget is at least $150 to $200 a month, and consider it non-negotiable if you want any quality of life. The bottom line on New York, if you're spending $1,200 on rent, $400 on food, $150 on a Metro card, $100 on utilities, and $150 on activities, you've already spent $2,000. And you have not budgeted for health insurance, a gym, new clothes, emergencies, or any savings whatsoever. $2,000 a month in New York means you're surviving, you're not living. You are one unexpected expense away from a problem. A lot of people do it. It's genuinely hard. Now we go somewhere completely different. Braga is a city in the north of Portugal with about 200,000 people. It's ancient, it has medieval churches and Roman ruins, and a university that has been around since the 1500s. It's also one of the fastest growing tech hubs in Southern Europe, which means it has a young population, great food, and a quality of life that very few cities at this price point can compete with. And the price point is the whole point. A 1-bedroom apartment in the center of Braga runs about 550 to 700 euros a month. That is roughly $600 to $750 at current exchange rates. That gets you a furnished, modern 1-bedroom apartment in a beautiful European city with cobblestone streets and actual character. If you go slightly outside the city center, you can find solid 1-bedrooms for 400 to 500 euros. And if you want a 2-bedroom, because why not, you're looking at 700 to 900 euros in a good area. For $2,000 a month, housing takes up maybe a third of your budget, 1/3, and you are living in a real apartment by yourself in Europe. Food in Braga is genuinely cheap by almost any standard. A meal at a local Portuguese restaurant, a full meal, not just a sandwich, runs about 8 to 12 euros. That is a sit-down lunch with soup, a main course, bread, and sometimes a drink included. Fine dining in Braga still costs less than a mid-range Tuesday dinner in New York. Groceries are similarly affordable. A solid weekly grocery run for one person is about 30 to 50 euros. You can eat very well, cook interesting meals, and treat yourself to restaurants multiple times a week for around 250 to 350 euros a month total. That is roughly $300 to $380 on food for a month. Braga's lifestyle is a mix of history and modern energy. The city has a famous pilgrimage site called Bom Jesus de Monte, which is basically a Baroque staircase going up a hillside that looks like a movie set and costs nothing to visit. There are festivals throughout the year, a lively student bar scene, day trips to the Minho wine region, and easy access to Porto, which is about an hour away by train. A beer at a bar is 2 euros, a glass of local wine at a restaurant is 2 to 3 euros, a monthly gym membership is about 25 to 40 euros. Entertainment and social life for a month in Braga is easily doable for 150 to 200 euros. So let's say 650 euros on rent, 300 on food, 40 on utilities, 150 on activities, 30 on a gym, 30 on transport. That is roughly 1,200 euros a month, which is about $1,300. You still have 700 left. Every month you are saving money, eating well, living in your own apartment, and actually participating in the city you live in. The math is almost embarrassing compared to New York. And then there is Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is in northern Thailand, surrounded by mountains and temples, and it has been one of the top digital nomad and expat destinations in the world for over a decade. The reason is simple. Your money goes so far here that it almost feels unreal the first time you experience it. For housing, a modern, furnished one-bedroom apartment with air conditioning, a pool, a gym in Chiang Mai costs somewhere between $300 to $600 a month, depending on the area and the building. Not $300 a week, $300 a month. For $500 to $600, you're talking about a genuinely nice apartment, clean, modern, often in a building that feels more like a boutique hotel than a rental. For $2,000 a month, you could rent a beautiful apartment with amenities and still have the majority of your budget left over. For food, this is the part that gets people. Street food in Chiang Mai costs 40 to 80 Thai baht per meal. This is between $1 and $2 US. A full, fresh, delicious bowl of noodles or a plate of stir-fried vegetables with rice is $1, maybe $2. If you want to eat at a Western-style cafe or a nicer sit-down restaurant, you're looking at $5 to $15. Still, that's great. An entire month of eating in Chiang Mai, including a mix of street food, local restaurants, and occasional Western meals, can come in at $150 to $250 total for the whole month. Chiang Mai also has hundreds of temples, many of which are free or cost under $1 to enter. Thai massages cost about $8 to $12 for a full hour. Muay Thai classes are $5 to $10 per session. Cooking classes are $15 to $30 for a half day. Day trips to waterfalls, elephant sanctuaries, and mountain villages run $30 to $60. The lifestyle here is extraordinarily rich for the money. A full social life, nights out, weekend trips, activities, coffee shop work sessions, spa days. It's all comfortable at $300 to $400 a month. So here's the bottom line on Chiang Mai. Rent is $450, food $200, activities $300, transport $50, miscellaneous $100. That is $1,100 a month, and you still have $900 left every single month. With $2,000 a month in Chiang Mai, you are not just comfortable, you're building savings, traveling on weekends, getting massages twice a week, and living a lifestyle that most people in expensive cities would genuinely describe as luxury. Now, what does $2,000 a month actually buy you? In New York, it buys you a room in a shared apartment, grocery store meals most of the time, and the constant low-level stress of knowing you cannot afford one bad month. You're there, you're surviving, but you're not thriving. In Braga, it buys you a real apartment in a beautiful European city, eating out regularly, weekend trips to the rest of Portugal and Spain, and a few €100 left over at the end of each month. That is genuinely a good life. In Chiang Mai, it buys you a lifestyle that is objectively better than what most people earning double that amount have access to in a high-cost city. A nice apartment, amazing food every day, activities whenever you want, and the freedom that comes from actually having money left over. The question is not whether the money goes further in some places than others. It obviously does. The question is what you value: career opportunities, proximity to certain people, specific cultural environments. Those things matter, and sometimes they're worth the premium. But if you've ever looked at your bank account at the end of the month and wondered where it went, it's worth knowing that the same number that barely keeps you afloat in one city is a completely different life somewhere else. Drop a comment and tell me where you would spend your $2,000. And subscribe if you want more videos that put real numbers on the places everyone is always talking about.